Well, it's getting winter. It's time to put the green Tardis, our van, into storage slot, at least until January time frame. And I thought it'd be a good time to give an update on the status of the green Tardis. It is now 20 years old, the 2000 Chevy Express extended van. It served us quite well, and over the 20 years we've done a lot of modifications to it. We've changed the table position inside 3 times. We've had the Sportsmobile roof added on the top of it. I thought it'd be a good time to give a review of it. On the way inside, we'll stop here for a second at the side door, and you get a view of what we have here. We don't do really any significant cooking inside the van. All of our cooking is outside. We prefer that. We do, if we have to, boil water in there to make oatmeal or something like that, or have a freeze-dried meal with boiled water if the weather's bad. Here's our water line coming to the side door to our kitchen. We do carry 18 gallons of fresh water in the back of the van in the bathroom area, but we have that plumbed so we can come up into the kitchen area here and get water. And here's the water line, and see if I can do this while holding the camera. I've got it hooked up right now, but we'll just unhook it, and there. And it stores up here out of the way with a cap over it. And the doors and stuff here all fold up out of the way, and the faucet goes back. Now down here is our kitchen cupboard, our pots and pans, cook kits, supplies. Pretty much empty now. Everything food-wise has been emptied out for the winter, but fire lighters and pot handles, silverware drawer, and other such stuff. Paper towel holder on the other side, and of course this all closes up there. And at the very bottom below the kitchen cupboard, I have some storage for maintenance supplies for the van. Fill that place up there. So this is again, I'll back up a bit. This is our main kitchen area, and you can see on the Sportsmobile white top, there's a track there. So in the summertime, we'd have an awning up there. So when we're camping, we put the awning out. It's a 7 by 10 foot awning that covers this whole area, shelters it, so we can be out here even when it's raining. Here is the back view of the van. I'll explain what we have back here in just a second. Just give you a pan of it first. First off, you notice the doors. We have put as much storage as we can. This is for me when I'm filling the car up with water. I have to keep things from getting sloppy. And over here we keep extra towels for the bathroom and for us. And then here's water hoses for refilling the tanks. And I have a water filtration system up here if I feel I need it. This is the water, goes into the water tanks, and the water can come through here and through these filters. This is a charcoal filter that takes out taste, sometimes like sulfury smelling water. It really works good for that. Then over here we have a 1 micron filter, which takes out bacteria, not viruses. Viruses are too small, but up to bacteria. So if we think someplace we have some suspect water, and I have water pressure, I can plug the hose into here and fill the tanks by these filters. And if I'm really as concerned, I have chemicals to put in that take care of viruses. Here we have ramps for leveling the van when we're not on level ground. And the jack, power cord, gloves. Anytime I empty the porta potty, take it out the back here, wear gloves. The solar panels from the roof of the van have been removed. We have 300 watts of solar up there and 3 panels. And of course, here's the ladder we made a number of years ago to go on the side. That's a do-it-yourself ladder design and installation. It's worked out quite well. Okay, I popped the top. There you can see the top's up, and there's the penthouse, and that's where our bed is at. Now we'll go inside. This is our door and door latch. Open the door. Now right in front of us here is the refrigerator. It is in the stowed position for traveling down the road. You can see it's got 3 straps on it to keep it secure. And it's also wedged underneath the Sportsmobile steel railing there. So it's captured under there snugly, and then it's also held on with 3 straps. Now below the refrigerator, that's the battery compartment back there. 2 6-volt golf cart batteries to give us 12 volts. And and here is the heater. We have heater and electrical outlets here. And also behind there, and behind the ventilation holes, is a inverter, 12 volt to 120 volt AC inverter. So by throwing these switches down here, we can either be on shore power, 110 volts, or we can have the inverter on and be on, and we're not plugged into shore. When we're remote camping, we can throw the switch and have the inverter on, and all the outlets in the van are again on 110 inverter supplied voltage through the batteries. We cannot use the heater while we're on batteries. It'll just drain the heater way too fast. So it's on a separate circuit, so it plugs into shore power. It can work. When we're not plugged into shore power, the heater will not work. And a little extra space under there, so we have space for more storage under the refrigerator as well. Well, now that we got the top up and we're inside, this is the bed area. Top is up, and this is where we sleep, up in the penthouse, we call it. The bed platform and the bed mattress itself. You can see the scissor mechanism for which is spring balanced to raise and lower the top. And we also have a fantastic fan mounted up there. You can see there's a lot of windows, so you can have the windows open when the weather's nice and have the fan going if it's hot, and works out quite well. I'll also put in some photos of how we get up into the bed. There, now that we're inside, here's a view of the front of the van. The passenger seat has been rotated so it can be used for comfort. Increases our space in here. We do have a center console that we have maps in and another miscellaneous drawer stuff in. And again, it has an outlet in it. You have 12 volt or 110. So we're driving down the road with the inverter on. The computers and stuff can be plugged in and charged. The refrigerator over here now, and the cupboard, storage cupboard. And the refrigerator itself now, it's been untied down, and I will open the door. It's a 3.2 cubic inch Igloo refrigerator that's designed to run on 110 volts. It's an Energy Star refrigerator, so I took it and I increased it. I added 2 inches of insulation to the top. I added an inch of insulation to the door, and then covered it with some birch plywood so it looks decent. And there's other areas around it where I increased the insulation so that it uses about half the power it did when I bought it. And it already was an Energy Star refrigerator. So we can run boondocking with the 2 golf cart batteries and the inverter. We can run the refrigerator for about 3 days. And of course, with the solar panels on top of the roof, that even increases it. We can be, if we get good sunlight, we can go indefinitely on batteries and recharge with solar. So we can camp for almost ever. Now I'm moving to the back of the van some more so you can see it. I'll go forward here in a second. This is our dinette table, which also can be made into a bed for when we have a grandchild with us. It wasn't one of the original features, one of the later things we did in the van. Well, this is our storage cabinet next to the refrigerator. The bottom 2 shelves in that, because we're near the side door, is used for food. Large compartment on the bottom, then the other one just above it also Joanne uses for food. Then the ones up above that are used for the clothing for us. And the top, because when the top's down you wouldn't be able to get in this drawer, the top one is a cupboard that you can open that way. And of course you all got push button locks, so when you're going down the road, everything it can be secure and locked in place. So here's the bathroom in the back of the van. We have a Porta Potty that's attached to the floor, and it holds about 5 gallons of waste in the black water tank, and it has about 3 gallons, I believe, a little bit over 3 gallons of water, 4 gallons maybe, in the fresh water tank on top. So we have 4 gallons of fresh water there that's dedicated to the toilet, and we also have 18 gallons of water underneath the sink and storage for the bathroom use and for cooking and drinking use. Coming around here, you can see the sink we have in the bathroom and the cupboards above. There for storage. Most of the stuff is out now for the winter, but this is where we store our supplies, medicines, and such stuff. Now, as far as the Porta Potty is concerned, it lasts us about 4 to 5 days, the 2 of us. But I prefer not to wait for it to get full. 5 gallons of waste in the bottom tank, it makes you like 40 pounds, 45 pounds of waste. You got pounds of material you got to move when you got to empty it. So I like to do it after about 2 or 3 days, every 3 days when it's a lot lighter. Now, on this side of the back area, turn the light switch on, we have our hanging closet. Which you can see. I'll see if I can pull this other one all the way. I've got some extra clothing I just keep here all the time over the winter or summer in storage. So we have a hanging closet here. Pretty good size, about 3 feet long. The depth of the bathroom here is about 3 feet, just enough to set on the toilet and have your feet still inside. And there's a privacy curtain for when the bathroom's in use. There. And extra storage for here. And it's handy when we're up in bed to set small pillows or books and things like that up in there. And you'll notice that there's a brace in the corner here. And another brace here. All four corners of the van. We put roof braces in. They're not really needed. The counterbalancing of the scissor mechanism, the spring-loaded top, raises the top. I just prefer to have them in. If we're using this in the winter, you get a snow load on top. That might be put enough weight up there to collapse the roof. So we just, as a matter of course, we always put the props in. It's no big deal when we're raising the top to do that. And while I'm up here, top of the refrigerator, have gate. Well, this is old, no longer there, just a hole. But we have shunts that measure how much the current in and the current out of the battery, so I keep an eye on the batteries, how charged they are, and what's the current flow in and out of them, and we have various things on. And I have thermometers on the refrigerator too, so I can monitor it. Here's storage on the passenger side of the van. Again, cooking supplies here because they're next to the side door. Frying pans, Coleman stove, griddles, things like that. Then after that, at the very back here, we have more we can take enough canned foods, I think, for a month. On the driver's side, this is the storage compartment there that also works as kind of a couch for us. It's fairly well emptied out right now. In the summertime, that would be full of things. You can see that the tops bifold, makes it easy in and out. And some of the storage in there, like you'll notice that all those compartments I just showed you, everything has a strap on it. Everything is locked down when we're on the road. All compartments are locked. And one thing to note back here is you notice the through aisle design of the green Tardis to the back. You'll look at a lot of conversion vans, and there's a bed across the back, raised up about half the height of the van, with storage below that, and it's a permanent bed installed. With this extended Chevrolet van, we did not want to have that style. We wanted the through aisle design like we have here. That allows us to have a dedicated bathroom in back, a privacy room, rather than pulling a porta potty out of a cupboard or using a pot to pee in, like some people even do. And this is our home when we're traveling. We want it comfortable. We want it laid out well. We don't want half of it taken up with a permanent bed. This again lets us have the bed during the daytime stored up here on the ceiling where it's at right now. So I can walk under it standing up. I'm 6 foot tall and I've got about 1 inch of clearance. One thing I haven't showed you yet, I'll have to go back and show you. And this now with the reversible chair up front on the passenger side gives you a very comfortable chair if you want to sit in. I removed the tablecloth from the dinette table, and here's the folding leaf. It's hinged to the table so it stores underneath the table, and when we want to have the table bigger we can just fold it out and put a leg on it, and we have a bigger table. We can have 2 people again sitting it there, and we could have 1 or 2 people sitting the other side on the bench and use the table. So if we have a grandchild with us, the 3 of us can sit here and play games together, or it makes a larger table for eating. Very handy. And of course you notice half the aisle is still free, so the bathroom is not closed off. Somebody wants to go from the front to the back, they can get around the table real easy and get to the back of the van, so it doesn't isolate sections of the van. One of our previous table designs was an aisle table, and that did. When you had the aisle table up, if you were on this side of the table, it was very hard to get to the back, especially if people are sitting down eating. So this was one of our fixes for things we found wrong in the van. As I say, this is 20 years of development on this fan, and you know, some things you put them in and you try them out, and oh, that's not quite what we want. Doesn't quite as handy as we want. But right now we are very, very happy with the van layout. This is the view of the sink side in the bathroom, the counter. I already showed you the cupboards up above and the sink itself. And again, this faucet, which is has switched, which you turn on and off, 1 gallon per minute. Now underneath this cabinet, it's kind of hard to see, but there's 18 2 9-gallon water tanks back there. And in the front, it gives us a little bit more storage under the sink. And also located under there is battery charger. And that's what these controls are for back here. It's a 40 amp charger. So when we're plugged into shore power, we can always keep the batteries topped off and fully charged. And if I want to disconnect it, I just throw the switch down and it's not on. And of course, it doesn't work, of course, if you're boondocking and nothing's hooked up. Of course, when you're boondocking, then what you're using is solar power to charge the batteries, and up here is the controller for the solar panels when they're installed on the roof. And that'll all do, as long as you got a good sun, they'll put in 10-15 amps of power to recharge the batteries. Well, battery charging, one more time talking about that. I've got the hood open on the van. Okay, one more thing about battery charging. This is the third charge method on the van. It's a voltage splitter. It's so the alternator on the van itself supplies power, and through diodes it can either charge the engine battery, starting battery, or it can charge the house batteries. That goes all the way back into the house batteries that are under the sink. And the isolator advantage of that is if I drain the house batteries, the starting battery is not affected because the diodes keep the two battery systems isolated from each other. But yet when the vehicle is going down the road, the alternator will keep both systems charged, keep my starting battery charged and keep my house battery charged. So we have 3 charging methods for the golf cart batteries system inside the van. One is when we're driving down the road, the alternator will keep the batteries charged. 2, when we're camping, the plugged in, which you can see right there at the back of the van, plugged in through the battery charger. This will keep the batteries charged. And thirdly, and lastly, if we're boondocking and do not have, not driving the car so it's not charging, or we are not plugged in so it's not charging, we have the solar panels, 300 watts of solar panels on the roof, and through the controller inside the van, that'll keep the batteries charged. So that's the battery charging system. It works quite well. Well, it's dark outside, late at night. But I thought I'd show what the van looks like with lights on, because a lot of the times the van is going to be used in the evening. Once the sun sets, be sitting in here playing cards or reading books. So you got to see what the light's like. Originally the van had incandescent light bulbs and fluorescents, and it consumed about 350 watts if you turned everything on, which we never did. Since that time, over the years, everything has been replaced with LED lights, and that has dropped the power requirements by 10. So now it's about 35 watts total power if we have all the lights on, which we don't really ever do, but I just wanted to show the effect if we did. So all the bathroom lights are on, the living area lights are on, and the front light is on. So I'm walking around a little bit. Of course, here's where we play cards or Mexican train or whatever activities we do, and it's well lit. The couch over here is lit. I sat there and read books. You really got to have lights at both ends of the box turned on to get good lighting for reading. And then here's the bathroom. And again, there's a cosmetic light overhead here. Then there's an under the counter light back here for lighting up the area. Pretty good. And again, as you can see, there's under lights on the storage boxes. One each side, and as I said, if you're going to sit there and read, you really want them both on to prevent shadows. And towards the front of the van, where the chair is at for reading or just relaxing. And again, there's a high overhead light there to light up the refrigerator and that whole front section. So the van really is pretty cozy at night. And really, if we're sitting at the table doing an activity like Mexican train or card game or whatever, the front lights and the back lights wouldn't be on. So instead of drawing 35 watts, we maybe draw 20 watts or 15 watts, something like that, which is not a heavy drain at all on the batteries.